Hello everyone, tomorrow's Valentine's Day, and so I wanted to discuss something in the light of a day devoted to devoting to your significant other or to a special someone you wish to initiate devotion and loyalty, or maybe something a bit more casual too. But this is more specifically involving gratitude and effort being exchanged. So, more specifically, I had a friend very recently, earlier today, that took some effort in making something special for Valentine's Day, and the entirety of Valentine's Day was not dismissed by their significant other, but the gesture in particular, they had a subjective interpretation of that particular gesture and its worth, and expressed it as such, thus basically taking the effort that my friend had put into it and more or less stating that that effort was wasted, it was in vain. And I'm going to give you all a couple of pieces of advice on how there is something horribly wrong with that. By the way, for those of you who haven't met either of my boys yet, this is Gilgamesh. He's typically in the room when I'm filming because he doesn't like to leave my room. But you may see him once or twice. He's a little cutie pie and a little troublemaker. When somebody takes an act and commits it with effort and sincerity in an attempt to make you feel good, or an attempt to show how much they care, or an attempt to basically make any gesture of goodwill, you need to take into account that regardless of how you feel about that action, regardless of how much that action may or may not mean something to you, or it may mean X value to you, you need to understand that it meant something to the other person to give it to you, to do it for you. And you're not telling them that item or effort or task or action X as a general note has Y value to them. You're telling them that what they specifically did with you in mind has Y value to them. And to discern the two, especially in a moment where the presentation of their efforts has emotional investment to them, even if they are capable of grasping that a particular task is, a particular action or gesture is not all that impressive to you, the worst possible time you can present this to them is in the moment in which they're doing it for you. Especially around the time in which it is either a specific day or a season where there is emphasis on this gesture. They have invested that much time and emotion into it. You should at least have the common sense and social understanding that regardless of how you feel about something, it's that important to them. I, for example, have certain things that are not of interest to me. If it's presented as a gift, if it's presented as an activity that means something to someone else, I am very reluctant to turn that down on simple note of it may not mean much to me. It means a lot to them. It means a lot that you approve of it. And so to say that the gesture itself doesn't mean anything to you will apply equally to how they personally wanted to apply it to you. You're knocking out two birds with one stone there, despite how much you may not want to in this particular instance. And that's going to hurt some people. And you have to be mindful of that. There are people who want to show their gratitude for what you do in their life and for who you are. This may be they're a boyfriend or a girlfriend. This may be they are a friend. This may just be a coworker who appreciates all the hard work you've done for them. This could be your neighbor who just appreciates that you've helped them move and helped them get their house situated, and they don't know anybody, so they like to say, hey, you're a cool person. And when you say, I don't like brownies, it wasn't the brownies that they were giving you. It was a gesture of gratitude for making them feel welcome in a new neighborhood. Or it's not, I don't do cards. Cards aren't really all that worth it to me. These weren't cards. These were handwritten gestures telling you how much I care about a special day for us. It's these things are so much more than the trivial gesture you make it out to be. Because if it was really such a trivial gesture to them, they probably wouldn't have done it at all. If you can't see that, I'm going to be honest, you make this mistake in more regards than that instance. If you're going to make that emotionless of a call, if you're going to make a call that lacking with emotional consideration, you make that mistake more frequently than you realize. And you're either going to lose that person, or that person is going to label you as someone who is not known for being emotionally supportive. And they may keep you around because they do see the redeeming qualities in you, but they're going to recognize that emotional support is not one of them. And believe me, you don't want to lose that quality in a human being. You don't want to lose that trait on your friendship resume. Because once you're deemed the person who is not emotionally reliable, there's very few instances in which they do consider you reliable, and there's very few instances where you will have priority over others. If you're really cool with such an existence, with being a back burner friend on someone's B-list, then that's the way you choose to live. But if you are going to make that mistake once of letting your perspective of a gesture govern how you react to someone else making that gesture for you, it's going to be a lonely life for you. That's just my 2 cents as Valentine's Day comes in. Be mindful of how you react to a gesture. It's probably going to mean more to the person giving it to you than it is to you. Just think about what it is to them before you react. It's my 2 cents. Peace out.